Ja Morant alone is worth the price of admission. Unbelievable young talent who I think will be an MVP in this league someday, maybe even get MVP votes as soon as this season. But let's take a look at his supporting cast, see if they're good enough to get him into the playoffs in the Western Conference this season, especially without Jaren Jackson Jr. at least to open the season. Let's dive into the film. First of all, Ja, like I said, is just outrageously good. I mean, look at how he explodes off wrong foot finishes all the time. He's going to have a nasty crossover, explode off 2 feet there. His ability to leap off either foot or off two is just remarkable. He is so much more athletic than I think anybody thought he was. And if you keep the floor spaced on the weak side and give him room to get into the paint, he is so good with his floaters and finishes around the basket, almost like a young Derrick Rose. He was, or the team, excuse me, was first in points in the paint last season, fourth in fast break points, fifth in pace, basically because of him, honestly. He's similar, to Russ, the way he played and still plays, really just relentlessly attacking the paint. It's not just a five-man job to keep him out of the paint. It's really like an eight-man job. You need three extra players, maybe the help of some refs, to keep him out of there because he is so crafty, so smart. He runs his man into the screen perfectly, keeps his defender on his back. He's got a great handle, and again, the ability to just launch up basically. As soon as he's within 5 or 6 feet, 7 feet of the basket, he's able to launch, and it's pretty much automatic with that floater. He doesn't miss that shot. I mean, I knew he was great at it last year. Seems like he's got even better at it based on his preseason film. I mean, I think he is unbelievably good. And then if you can add in an even better three-point shot it decently last season, but if he continues to grow and has the confidence to knock down transition threes off the dribble and make shots like this, I mean, he's got the clutch gene. He's not afraid of the moment, and he's going to be a long-term superstar, absolute superstar. Look at that pass, the lobs. I mean, he's got pretty much everything to his game, and what he really creates as well is because, like I said, you need so many guys to come in and help keep him out of the paint, so many bodies in there, creates wide open threes. Guys like Kyle Anderson certainly benefit and need to knock them down. Here, Anderson on the weak side from the slot. Look at him slash, back cut. Ja gets up in the air and finds him for a beautiful assist. Valanciunas, I mean, look how crafty he is. His feel for the game, his basketball IQ is really next level. You can just tell, too, he has a lot of joy for making plays for his teammates. I mean, this is why he's worth league pass every single night. Look at this pass. Gets up in the air, loves it for Valanciunas. And he's pretty athletic, too. I don't know if we mentioned that yet, but pretty special as well when not just a threat with the ball, but when he can rim run like that as a point guard, finish like that in transition, unreal. Like I said, great getting up in the air, finding passes. Dillon Brooks is his best offensive weapon. He is, with Valanciunas, probably the three sure things to be in the starting lineup. A phenomenal shooter, super efficient, has really improved over his 3 years in the league so far. Just been a bucket, quite frankly, in the preseason. Really, really gifted, really smooth, pure offensive game, good floater game, good mid-range pull-up. He's much more skilled than I think he was coming into the league. They've done a really good job developing him, and he's just right now one of those guys that's super efficient playing against the drops. These are the wide open shots around the elbow that are basically conceded in the NBA. He can knock down that shot at a really high level. He can also occasionally get to the rim, needs to do that a little more frequently, but just a very crafty player. Look at him here. He's basically just going to read his man, D'Angelo Russell, trailing him on that little pin, curl it tight, finish at the rim. They also view him kind of as their best defender. So if there's anything that potentially could wear him down this season is that they do ask a lot of him because they don't want Ja having to do that all night long. Grayson Allen, guys like that aren't lockdown defenders by any means. So they really ask him generally guard the other team's point guard a lot, guard the other team's top scorer. So definitely keep an eye on how much that takes out of him. Valanciunas, like I said, is the other sure thing starter. They'll run some first plays of the game for him, give him some post touches to keep him happy and feel like he's involved. And he gives you good appreciation for just how good these guys in the NBA are. Because if you don't watch him on a night-to-night basis, you'd have no idea how good he still is. Lumbering, not the best real fit to rim run with Ja, since he's not the most fleet of foot, but he will run, he will deep seal you, and if he gets position that deep under the basket, you have no chance. And on top of that, even though every single announcer is going to freak out and be shocked when he throws these threes in, he shot 35% last year on almost 100 threes. He could certainly make that over the head, top of the key shot, even though it looks weird. He's going to make plenty of them still this season. DeAnthony Melton is certainly an option to start at the 2. What's weird about him, he shot 29% from 3 total in his first 2 seasons in the league. Shot 39% though from the corners. If he could just take these, cut maybe some of the other ones out of his game, then he's a super efficient 2 guard that seems like a really good pairing alongside Ja, since he's a very good defensive guard as well. They paid him very handsomely this summer, 4 years, $35 million, but it looks like he's put the work in. Looks like his shot is much improved. Again, he's been very consistent, at least from the corners, and on top of that, he's a nice little combo guard option. He can create out of the pick and roll a little bit. He's got a good feel for the game. He plays off Ja nicely, can get into the paint for some of his floaters. A skilled player, plays hard, and again, his defensive analytics, all that, are pretty good because he's a smart guy. Look at this on the weak side. He's the low man. He's going to come get out of the charge circle, be vertical on D'Lo's drive. That's exactly how it's supposed to look. Desmond Bane we'll talk about later. Grayson Allen is another option potentially to start at the 2. Jazz first rounder just from a couple years ago, 40% from 3 last year. Only 32% as a rookie, so still not a sure thing, but certainly looks like, and this is basically what he was in college, an elite floor spacer, a specialist. He's not going to do a tremendous amount of other things. Certainly competitive, plays hard, he's serviceable defensively. He's not going to make every shot, but out there's few guys that are going to be better at just standing still and making spot-up jumpers. And that's his role on the team, and he seems to be doing it pretty well. So a nice job again by Memphis. Kyle Anderson is a option. Play some 3 for sure. Also maybe to start as the small ball 4 without Jaren Jackson Jr. Slow-mo VCR type speed is how he's going to play, but still somehow is going to herky-jerky, find a way to get to the basket. Guys are still going to go for this slow shot fake all the time, and he's going to get in the paint. Look at that pass. That's his skill set. He's got a really high basketball IQ. 2.5 assists, basically, 1 turnover a game last season. Takes good care of the ball, knows how to play. That play looked almost exactly the same. Keeps getting Jake Layman to go for this shot fake. This time he goes underneath the rim to finish. Issue with him, 28% from 3 last season, 31% on his career. If he can get back at least to that number, it becomes a lot more respectable. Shooting the ball well in the preseason, but again, that's the one thing that's kind of kept him from being a super reliable starter, because otherwise, again, his feel for the game is really good. He's a very smart basketball player. He's just been very inconsistent from out there. Brandon Clark, certainly an option to start at the 4 as well. He's been banged up a lot this preseason, but he is a capable, improving three-point shooter, a very fundamental, if awkward, post scorer, scores on some floaters and short rolls and a lot of different things, offensive rebounds, hustles, rim runs, plays hard, very fundamental, surprisingly freakishly athletic at times. He's kind of Ja's personal spin-out lob threat. Tyus Jones is the backup point guard. That role is definitely solidified, and he is very solid at it. Mostly score first, but he's also a capable playmaker, but he gives you the added dimension that he could play alongside Ja at times. He can play off the ball, he can shoot, but yeah, his main role is to come in for the 5 to 10 minutes a game Ja won't play and play competent and then make shots alongside Ja when he's out there. Desmond Bane, here's a guy to keep an eye on. He was the last pick of the first round this season. I love what I've seen out of him in the preseason. He is a big guard. He is 6'6", 215. He's listed as like a point shooting guard. We'll certainly have to play like some 3, but has versatility to play, I think, 1 through 3, maybe even some small ball 4 in the NBA. Look at this back cut from the corner. He's got a really good feel for the game, really understands what he's doing out there, and he can really shoot the ball. He was 43% from career college three-point shooter. Overall, obviously, the NBA three-point line's a little bit further back. There'll be a little bit of an adjustment, but in the preseason, looks like he's making that adjustment quite well. He's been shooting the ball just fine, and then here's a good just example of his feel again. Finds Jang with kind of a deep seal. That's his fault for not being aggressive, but then when he gets the ball back on the perimeter, attacking the long closeout, crafty little sidestep finish at the rim. Here's him attacking off a side pick and roll and finding Conchar, cutting behind the defense. Again, he's kind of like a point forward type because he handles the ball some. He makes plays for his teammates. He's got a good feel. And on top of that, it looks like he could really shoot and play. Overall, this is what makes Memphis really fun, really scary. Again, 5th in pace, 4th in fast break points. They get the rebound. They get a steal. They are off to the races. They have a young team with a lot of live, athletic bodies. This guy, I don't even think is going to make the roster, but Ja loves to throw lobs up to just about anybody. And again, once they get turnovers, once they force you into deflections and steals, they are out to the races, and they really execute. You can tell what teams work on them. Taylor Jenkins clearly has them doing a lot of 3-on-2, 2-on-1, fast break type drills because their stuff looks as good as anybody's in the league. And there's Bane again playing off Conchar. Thanks for watching. Notable injuries: Jaren Jackson Jr. obviously will be back at some point. Hopefully, Justice Winslow is perennially hurt, but hopefully he makes it back this season. If you want a 4-minute bonus video with all exclusive Grizzlies clips, looking at some of the guys I didn't mention in this video, go to patreon.com/scoutwithbrian to subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Thumb up, subscribe, and talk soon.